Austrians and Germans. What's the difference? It's the same shit. I'm kidding. I love Mozart. The only contribution since Mozart that Austrians had for humanity, which was not really a contribution, like the contribution that they had after Mozart, since Mozart, the 18th century, was the failed painter Adolf the Third Reich. He was Austrian, yeah. So that was the only the only contribution. And Sigmund Freud was Austrian, but he was Jewish, so it doesn't count. Like Karl Marx, like, you know, was Jewish but German, but now was not German. Like Albert Einstein, he was Jewish. So the Jewish community takes pride in having someone like Albert Einstein, not the German community, to my semi-subjective, semi-objective opinion. So that's how it is. And well, Austrians, Maz Jobrani, American comedian, American Iranian comedian. I don't know what does American Iranian means, but anyway, I don't believe in double nationalities. Anyway, but like culturally American Iranian comedian, he said that the difference between Iranian and Arabs is in the language. And Iranians, it's like when they talk, it's like they are on heroin, and Arabs are they are on cocaine. Well, it's partially true. Yeah, I think generally it's true. Like, you know, especially when they both speak English. Like Arabs are very fast and very I don't want to talk negatively, but anyway, aggressive a bit, like in the tonality. And Iranians are like, "Babe, what are you doing? I'm very great. Well, how are you? It is very great. I like you." The Persian accent, the Iranian accent, whatever it is, and I use this comparison for depicting, talking about Germans and Austrians. I think Austrians are a mellow version of Germans. They're a little bit more relaxed and less stubborn and less direct, but still, like, I was reading about the history. The legends say, when I said, like, how the heck, I asked from ChatGPT and, like, you know, read about it in books, that how the heck an Austrian guy like Adolf Hitler became the Führer, like the head of the state of Germany. He's a foreigner, and the ChatGPT and other books said no. Germans considered Austrians as Germans, and also it was mutual love. So he was not a foreigner, and he was German, like, you know, German, Austrian, like same thing, according to so many people at that time. So when Hitler wanted to make Austria join Germany, the Third Reich Empire got defeated by communism. Where's the communist? I took out all the pictures of political pictures. Anyway, so when the Germany with the Third Reich, Adolf Hitler wanted to make Austrians join Germany, the legends say that the Austrians said to Hitler, "Come to Papa," like, you know, that's like, "Come to Mama, Papa," or something like that. Like, they loved it mostly, except the movie Sound of the Music, which depicts Christopher, I don't know. Christopher Pumpkin, I don't know, it was not Pumpkin, it was like something else. Like the protagonist of that movie, it's an Austrian commander, army commander that doesn't like Nazism and this kind of things. Maybe that was the only, in the story, in the film, that was the only Austrian who didn't like the Third Reich. Anyway, you need to, like, read about it. I think history is, like, you know, it's not something that you can read a book and say that's it. You need to read about the different perspectives of the history. So from different people. For example, you read every side, like different perspectives, and you have your own interpretation. I think that's the best way to read history. So, for example, in the father of history, Herodot, cites Iranian historians when he talks about Persian Empire and army. And he was obviously biased, because I'm not defending Persians or Greeks. I have no prejudice in this conflict, historian conflict in history. Just like he was a soldier fighting against Persians, so obviously he was not impartial, and he had prejudice and bias toward depiction of Iranians and Persian Empire. So at that time, so that's history. That's the father of history. That's what we call father of history, which is not the father of history because there were historians before him, but we don't. It's lost. The documents, the books are lost to very high probability and possibility. So between Austrians and what's happened between Austria and Germany in the Second World War and how they joined the German army and the Third Reich, I don't know exactly, but they said there was not that much resistance. Also in the Germany at that time, majority of the people, they believed in the Third Reich. Anyway, I'm not endorsing anything. Talking about something doesn't mean endorsing something. It's just like, it's a food, and it's nourriture. Food is nurturing. It's a food for thoughts. Thoughts is a food for thinking, for pondering, for reflection, for reflecting, for about brainstorming, to understand. It's food for mind to think about. So that's how it is, and that's what I think. And so Austrian Germans, they're the mellow version of Germans, and Germans, they have a sense of humor or not. I had German boss, German guitar teacher, I had German landlord, German classmate, German co-worker. We did a project in Los Angeles, and I can name so many people. Johannes Rudolph, Andreas Kratky, Friedrich Moltmann, Jan Pak, there's lots of people that, and some of them, I don't remember the names. Jesus. I really am a fan of, not the country necessarily. I have no interest to go to live in Germany. It's a subjective opinion. There's nothing wrong with Germany, but it's not my type. I don't like. But I have some German attitude, according to the people who had interaction with me, and they knew about the German culture to some extent, and they called me German. I said I don't look like German, firstly, and second, no, I'm not German. But for example, one of the German traits or characteristics that they have, I'm extremely straightforward, and I'm extremely serious in debates and in some conversations, so way too much serious. But one trait that they have that Germans might have is basically it's lots of sense of humor. I'm not a genius in comedy. I don't believe in being a genius. I don't believe in the word genius, but I'm extremely. I have a lot of potential in comedy. So I'm not sure that it's a natural collective trait, shared trait between German population or German culture. I don't believe in genetics. Genetics can be reversed. It can be defeated by will and love and practice. So intellectual things, and especially emotional things, art, history, anything that you can study, except sports. Like in the sports is way too difficult. For example, if you're not from African descent, it's hard to excel in basketball and easily. But it's possible. China or Spain or even France defeated U.S. The black team of national U.S. basketball team got defeated by France, or I don't know, maybe Spain or China or something like that. So they're not black African, but they are not. They're not entirely African origin, but they are good at basketball. So they don't have Michael Jordan to the extent that I know, French team or Spanish team or Chinese team, but they are successful in what they do. So I don't believe in race in any sense, form, or way. I believe in will. I believe in love. I believe in not solitude. Solitude to some extent is necessary. I want to talk about a lot of things, but I just forget about it. I think the only limit is your soul. That's how it is. It's metaphysically, anyway. Not metaphorically, metaphysically. But what else? That's it. I don't want to hate. I don't want to this is improvisation. I started with the difference between German and Austrians, but I want to talk about different things. It's one of the side effects of positive side effects, relatively positive side effects of being too alone. I don't feel lonely, but as Jean-Paul Sartre said, if you're bored or if you're suffering or like whatever, you don't like your loneliness or solitude, you're in a bad company. What he meant, I don't know exactly. He's Jean-Paul Sartre. No one understands him. But what I want to say basically is, I love sometimes being alone. Like it's most of my life, I pass in loneliness, not loneliness, in solitude, and even isolation. But I didn't lose the sense of freedom that I had, and that's it. It's very great for having useful philosophical thinking and thoughts. Loneliness and solitude and isolation is very, very important in this sense. You can turn something bad, which is pejorative, or something that seems like pejorative or negative, like isolation, to something positive. So that's how it is. Germans and Austrians. I don't want to insult anyone. I don't hate them. I really like Germans, and they were very good friends. Sometimes they were racist. Some of them that I ran into them in hostels. Like some of them were great, very nice. Some of them were Austrians also, and some of them they were racist and megalomaniac or narcissist a little bit. They believed in this German supremacy and this kind of things. After 2 seconds, he called me a guy who traveled around the world. He was German. He said you have Iranian mentality. I opened my mouth because of my face. He called me Iranian mentality. I said I don't feel being Iranian. I didn't. There's nothing wrong with being and having a nationality. The wrong thing is not being a good person. That's all. That's I think one of the most difficult things, based on my observation in the world, is being a good person, staying a good person, and being a good person. That's one of the most extraordinary things someone can. It doesn't matter you're a genius or multimillionaire, multi-billionaire. Good person, being a good person, that is completely intuitive and doesn't need a proof or doesn't need a philosophical definition. It's completely emotional, or it's something not completely emotional. It's partially emotional, partially logical, and it can be felt and it can be seen and can be observed, and that someone is a good person, and it's inherently defined in human nature against the bullshit that the Slavoj Žižek talks about, that when you dig deep into your soul there's nothing but shit. I think if you dig deep into the soul of fucking fat fuck Slavoj Žižek, the fake intellectual, yes, there's nothing but less than feces, less than shit, because you put shit in the ground, you're gonna have a flower with a seed at the beginning. You put fucking Slavoj Žižek in the ground, you're gonna have a consumer of the hamburgers or McDonald's. He's not even a communist. He's more of a megalomaniac, imperialist, capitalist idiot who thinks because he gets attention. And if you don't care about human beings or don't like people that much, why the fuck you come to the speeches and talk bullshit? We need gangs. We need more gangs. So what the fuck you're talking about? I wasted my life about 20 hours following your bullshit remarks and rhetorics about so-called what you call philosophy. You talk about movies, you talk about communism, you talk about women, men, I don't know, anything you name it, you talk about, and it's 99% pure bullshit. Why do I care? He's a famous philosopher. It doesn't mean I believe in what he says, but I was very curious about someone. In the 21st century, after the era of Michel Foucault, Jean-Paul Sartre, Albert Camus. Albert Camus is a philosopher too. Proof is Myth of Sisyphe. That book is a completely incomprehensible book of philosophy. It's not a novel necessarily. So he was not just a writer, he was a philosopher, Albert Camus. So the era of Albert Camus, Michel Foucault, and Nietzsche has passed. Nietzsche was 19th century anyway. Michel Foucault, Jean-Paul Sartre, Albert Camus, even Noam Chomsky. Rest in peace, Noam. So I didn't mean that. I mean just be healthy wherever you are. Be happy. That's my philosophical grandfather. I'm not necessarily in line with whatever he says. He didn't respond to my email since 4 years ago, so I have a little bit of grudges. But anyway, let's get back to the business. So after the era of Albert Camus, Jean-Paul Sartre, Michel Foucault, we have idiots like I don't know, Jordan Peterson and Slavoj Žižek. There's no other major, phenomenally famous intellectuals in this world right now. Known intellectuals. That's like, that I just open Instagram, Facebook, wherever you open LinkedIn. Jordan Peterson, Slavoj Žižek. Jordan Peterson and Slavoj Žižek, the megalomanic narcissist, they talked about something. And Charlie Kirk was not he was extremely religious, so I don't count him as a thinker that much, because when you approached his belief in religion, that was the line. He became extremely biased, prejudiced, no doubting, and he was making declarations. Of course, at popular logical fallacy. Of course, everyone knows that, blah blah blah. I don't know. The Holy Spirit did that, or I think God, blah blah, Jesus, blah 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 blah. So I'm not talking against him or for him. I said he's biased extremely on certain subjects. And despite the appearance that he had, that he was following logic and rationality and rational arguments and definitions, and I agree with him in some stuff, like for example, he said that USSR, Soviet Union, was not a communist state, it was a socialist state. That's correct, sir. That's absolutely correct, which is against, it's true, but it's against the mass perception of socialist states of USSR, Soviet Union. So you got it right on this one, and he got it right also in the US. US is not a democracy, it's a republic. That was right. That was brilliant from Charlie Kirk. In the other subjects, like abortion and other stuff, I don't agree with him. And he made a video, but after he passed away, I didn't want to make a fuss. I don't want to make a. I just erased the video because I wanted to make I want to keep a low profile. I'm not interested to criticize someone who recently has passed away in a violent way, and in a violent way he got shot. And I don't want to talk about negative things. Just like life is already too much cruel and dark, and the energy and love and freedom that it's in our soul. It's having a hustle. What do we call it? It's just it has a struggle with this world to make a meaning out of it. So I'm not interested to talk about extremely negative things, and just giving my condolences doesn't fix anything. When someone is dead, don't cry. As long as he's alive, care about him or her. But when he's dead, I don't believe in funerals. I do not believe in funerals because the guy has died. He's dead. So what's the point of crying over someone dead's body? I don't understand that. Care about people as long as they're alive. That's all. That's a problem with philosophy, because most philosophers, they became famous after they died. So what the fuck, man?